If you can lift the back of your hive with just one finger, your bees are in danger of starving. That sounds like a stark warning for a peaceful afternoon in the garden, but for a first-time beekeeper, it is the most important metric you will ever learn. We all start this journey because we want to support our local pollinators and enjoy the rhythm of the seasons, but the most common mistake beginners make isn't about the bees themselves, it's about the strategy behind how we feed them. Many of us reach for the easiest tool available, like an entrance feeder, without realizing that in the late summer or fall, we are effectively ringing a dinner bell for every robber bee in a 3-mile radius. Today, we're going to walk you through a calm, professional feeding strategy that moves beyond guesswork and ensures your new nucleus colony has exactly what it needs to survive the winter and thrive next spring. Host 1, I think a lot of stay-at-home parents and garden keepers feel like feeding sugar is somehow cheating or unnatural, but we have to look at it as a bridge. Stewardship in the modern world means helping our colonies face challenges like habitat loss and fickle winters that previous generations didn't have to worry about. When you bring home a new nuke or a package of bees, you've provided them with a house, but they still have to furnish it with drawn comb. Creating that wax, what beekeepers often call gold, requires a massive amount of calories. Feeding sugar syrup isn't just about preventing hunger, it provides the energy required for those young wax-making bees to push out wax scales and build the cells where the queen will lay her eggs. To do this right, you need to understand that different seasons require different cocktails. In the spring, when you want to stimulate the hive and encourage the queen to grow the population, we use a 1-to-1 ratio of white granulated sugar to water. This light mixture mimics natural nectar and tells the colony that resources are plentiful. But as we move into the fall, the goal shifts from growth to weight. This is when we switch to a thick 2-to-1 ratio, which mimics honey and signals the bees to pack it away for the long winter ahead. It is vital that you only use plain white granulated sugar, never brown, raw, or organic sugar, because those alternatives contain solids that can cause fatal dysentery in your bees. Now, let's talk about the gear, because this is where the bee soup tragedies happen. While entrance feeders are popular because they are easy to monitor, they are essentially a fall death trap. Because the syrup sits outside the hive, it cools down too quickly and attracts pests like ants and robber bees. For the garden beekeeper who wants a peaceful yard, internal feeders are far superior. Frame feeders replace 1 or 2 frames inside the hive, keeping the syrup warm and accessible even in cooler weather. However, these can be labor-intensive because you have to open the hive and potentially lift heavy boxes to refill them. If you want the most efficient setup, especially as a busy parent, the hive top feeder is the professional choice. These sit directly under the cover and allow you to refill the syrup without ever disturbing the colony or even putting on a bee suit. But even with the best equipment, bees can still drown in the syrup. This brings us to a brilliant outlier hack, the sock method. By taking a brand new washed cotton crew sock and placing it over the center cone of a rapid round feeder, you provide a wicking surface for the bees. They can suck the syrup directly through the fabric without ever being in jeopardy of falling into the liquid. It's a simple $1 solution that eliminates bee mortality during feeding. As your colony grows, you might notice your bees need more than just sugar. They need a reliable water source that won't turn into a drowning pool. A great tip for your garden is to use a large open drinker filled with marine biofilter balls. These little plastic spheres provide 360-degree footing for the bees, allowing them to drink safely, while also providing shade that prevents algae from growing in the water. If you find the weather turning cold, specifically below 45 degrees, you must stop using liquid syrup entirely. At that point, moisture becomes the enemy, and you should switch to a solid candy board. These hard blocks of sugar sit right over the cluster, providing an emergency lifeline while also absorbing excess moisture inside the hive. The ultimate goal of this strategy is what we call high-velocity feeding. Instead of giving your bees a small quart jar every few days, which they will simply consume for immediate energy, try giving them 2 gallons at once. When the bees encounter a massive amount of syrup, they perceive it as a honey spill and are forced to store it in the comb immediately. This is how you quickly build that 70 to 80 pounds of winter weight. Remember our opening test. If you can still tilt the back of that hive with 1 one finger, they aren't finished yet. Keep that 2-to-1 syrup moving until the hive feels like a lead weight anchored to the ground. By following this seasonal calendar, stimulating in the spring, building velocity in the fall, and providing a candy board safety net in the winter, you aren't just keeping insects, you are preserving a complex superorganism that will bring your garden to life next year. Your reward won't just be the honey, it will be the profound joy of seeing that same colony explode with activity when the first dandelions bloom.